Please Don't Destroy is the name of the group, right? So that's not even part of the name of the movie.
No,
That gets taken out. It's lifted right out. So then it's the Legend of Foggy Mountain. Foggy Mountain is the proper noun.
What do you think? Okay, well, here's the question: when they make when they make their next movie, what's it going to be called?
It's going to be called Foggy Mountain 2: A Please Don't Destroy movie. Nailed it.
No, it's going to be called Please Don't Destroy 2: the time our balls dropped.
Here's my. I'm going to return this serve one more time. They're not getting a second movie. Hey, watch him! With Dan and Tony! Hey, watch him! With Dan and Tony! It's like watching you!
Welcome! Hey, Watching with Dan and Tony. I'm Dan.
I'm Tony.
And we're the guys that talk about the movies that sometimes just came out. And if you like people talking about movies, give us a thumbs up or subscribe or maybe leave a comment about how angry we made you by us doing the Emoji Movie. I don't think anyone was happy about the Emoji Movie.
Really?
It's one of our nobody's watching that episode. So
it's probably because they don't care enough.
Yeah,
so
probably.
Obviously that was a bad choice because people were like, we don't even care enough to get mad about it.
No,
Lesson learned.
I love them. I mean, I didn't love that movie, but I love doing that movie.
It was a good one. Yeah, so if you're listening to this episode, go check it out. It's still a fun episode.
It's a fun episode. It's a fun episode. But this week, Tony picked another. After he picked the Emoji Movie, and he picked another banger of a comedy.
So maybe we're gonna go 0 for 2 on Tony picks this month. I'm not sure. Let's set the scene, if you will. Dan and I were once a part of sketch comedy as a community. Not anymore. We've been kicked out, removed forcefully. Well, one of us was removed forcefully, and then Dan just, does whatever he wants at any given time.
I was asked to not move on any further. That's what I was asked.
But you were asked very nicely.
Yeah.
I was removed forcefully. I was told, "Listen, fatty, you're not funny. Get out of here. Get out of here."
Well, you were the wrong. You were said to be the wrong kind of funny.
Yeah, which is, I almost think, worse, because that means, Dan, is that you're not funny. That's what it means. When people are like, "Oh, you're just not my sensibilities," right? Nobody, you're not. That's like what I say about this movie. Spoiler alert, my whole thing is like, I guess if you like them, you'll probably like the movie, but it sucks. Anyhow, so this movie, I haven't said the movie yet. This movie is, of course, the Peacock original, Please Don't Destroy, The Legend of Foggy Mountain, made by the super group of idiots. Please Don't Destroy, from Saturday Night Live fame.
Here's what I'll say. I'll agree with every point you make and not contradict you at all if you could tell me the name of any one of these three guys. Not just the first name, but both the first and last name of any of these three guys.
Oh, no. I can't do that. I know John.
Oh, but do you know who his dad is? If you know who his dad is, you could get the last name. He's the easiest of the dads because he's the one dad that you actually know his name.
No.
Higgins. I believe he's the Higgins. Guy's
Higgins.
Kid.
The Higgins is, sure.
Yeah.
Nope. That's all I had.
Guess I'm gonna.
So now you're gonna disagree with everything I say, even if I'm 100% right. Because Dan, I am 100% right. This movie's terrible.
This movie is terrible.
Good.
But I think it's probably the funniest of all the comedies we've ever done. There are more things I laughed at in this movie than I think any other comedy we've ever done.
My first laugh came at 17 minutes and 33 seconds. That's a timestamp if anybody wants to fast forward to that moment in the movie. That's my first laugh. And I think I had 4 laughs total.
Yeah, I think I was at 6+. I might have been 6 or 7.
6+. Can I just say that's not very many laughs, though? Like the way that you positioned yourself there is it made it sound like it was funny, but it's just funny in comparison to what we've done. I feel like I want to make that point clear.
Well, I don't laugh at a lot of things in most movies. I'll sit through most movies and not laugh, and so. There were a couple of times where I really broke up, and there's a couple of really good jokes, and I think that's the point is, it's not that these guys can't write jokes. It's just that their whole situation is not focused. It's just like, okay, if we throw out enough jokes, people will laugh at the stuff. Because the way they build the jokes is not wrong. They don't build the jokes wrong. They don't know how to perform a lot of the jokes very well.
Ding, 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 ding. That is my problem with them as a whole from day one, day dot, as my friends across the pond say. Please don't destroy.
Yeah,
are smart.
Yeah,
they're three smart dudes, and I can appreciate that.
Yeah,
but if you are performing your own material and you can't perform your own material that you wrote for yourself, you're dead to me.
Well, and that's part of it, but the other part of it is they brought in, the bit players are all people that are names.
Better than them?
Well, they're better than them, but once again, I think when they're performing the material, it's the same thing. I think that the material suffers from not having the proper framework to get it to mean something, right?
Well, so here's the way I see the movie as a whole. It's a product of what I'm going to call, as my angry old man, I'm going to call the TikTok generation, which is jokes per minute pretty high. Yeah. Like we're firing pretty solid, whether you like the jokes or not, but I understand and I can recognize that those are jokes that people might enjoy.
Sure.
The jokes per minute are high. They're not cohesive. Nothing makes sense. Like this is something that you can clip out everything and like post to TikTok, but as a movie, it's garbage.
Yeah. I mean, and maybe if one of them learns to write and doesn't sit there with the other guys, egging them on, if one of them wrote a movie and then they made the movie, as opposed to this whole thing feels like, oh, now we have to give him his thing, and now we have to give him his thing, and now we have to give him his thing. Like. Ugh.
And I will disagree with you on one. Well, I mean, you're right. Because so Conan, spoiler alert, I liked two people in this movie. I like Conan only when he's talking to the redhead, his son in the movie.
The son, sure.
When they have isolated scenes, I think they're really nice.
Okay.
When they're all in a group together, it all falls apart. I don't know. I can't put my finger. I'd have to watch it a couple more times to really understand what's falling short in those scenes. But when it's just like when he's pitching, we'll get to it obviously, but when he's pitching his dad, like that scenes to me is really nice. I think they both do a good job. I think they're working off each other. I think it's nice. The other person I really like in this movie is one of the park rangers. The love interest?
Megan Salter? Yeah, she's very...
Is she a person?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, she is. I should have looked it up, probably.
The problem is, she's much funnier in other stuff I've seen.
And I believe that because she elevates everything that she does in this movie. Like
she's funny.
And that's, to me, that's the sign of a good performer, is you take something that, again, there are jokes. It's just not... It just doesn't come together, but she's able to stand out and she makes me laugh in every scene she's in.
Oh, okay. Well, that's good because she was like the secretary of the agent of the guy in, oh gosh, I can't think of the one with the Gene Smart, where Gene Smart plays a comedian on HBO and she makes a comeback. And she plays like the obnoxious secretary who doesn't care, and and she stole scenes right and left.
Got it.
And that's why in this
I totally get that.
In this thing, I think that the way they set up the relationship between those two, she isn't allowed to steal scenes because you already know where it's going, and so you already know everything. So there's no arc, and this movie is a movie without an arc.
It's hardly a story. I would argue there is plot points.
Yeah, there's plot,
but there's no thread. There's no story. I don't know. So in what, and then we'll get to it. But in a movie, I feel like I want more than just jokes. And this is just me. I like a story that's peppered with jokes. That's how
Sure.
you write a good movie, right? But I think my biggest problem, Dan, is that this is a movie that should be for me as someone who grew up on The Goonies and Monster Squad, the movie that they're kind of satirizing. It's not there. Like the satire of that movie isn't there.
Well, that's because they're not doing a satire of
But
those movies.
when I watched the trailer, that's what I was promised.
Yeah, yeah, because that's what they stole a title like that,
Uh-huh.
and then they didn't understand what it is they were satirizing, and so they don't. If you don't understand the thing you're making fun of, it's the most classic of all comedy things. If you don't understand what you're making fun of, and you don't actively make fun of it, then you end up not making fun of it, and then it just disappears.
Then it's just nothing. It's just a bunch of nothing.
I gotta say one last thing. The greatest comedy teacher of all time, Karen Mariyama. We love Karen.
I hope she's not listening to this because she will yell at you.
She will yell at me. Back in Groundlings, she would always yell at me, "Raise the stakes." And you always were like, what do you mean by raise the stakes? And what that means is first you break the guy's finger, then you break his wrist, then you break his arm, then you break his neck. That's raising the stakes.
Great.
So, at the end, and we can always look at Die Hard, which is a perfect movie.
Yeah.
Always raising the stakes. When he has to run across the glass, you're like, we've reached the thing where the hero must sacrifice everything, his human feet.
It's human feet. Yeah.
Even though I guess he doesn't really suffer that much from it. He just has to pick stuff out and then wrap them in towels or whatever.
Well, it's a great scene, though, as he's picking glass out of his own foot, talking on the walkie. Oh, God, I love that movie.
And that's what that movie does. It
Which
always
is Christmas
raising the
season,
stakes.
Dan. We get to watch Die Hard soon. Yes.
Yeah. So you have to raise stakes. And this movie is the perfect explanation of how the stakes are never raised. Their friendship
They don't even introduce stakes. There aren't stakes to begin with, are there?
Yeah, they do. They have stakes all over the place. The guy is the one kid is in conflict with his dad. The other kid is in conflict with a wife, and the other kid wants to be friends with his friends. And
I'll give you that one.
2 or 3 or 4 times during the thing, they break up, even though in the next scene they're all together and they're not broken up and nothing has happened. So that's not raising the stakes. Is where the couple breaks up and then they're still together and they're still fine.
Now that third one where you're like, he just wants to hang out with his friends, right? It's like a long Workaholics episode in which it's like a spec script. That's the best way. Like a spec script for someone who's not that good at writing that wrote a Workaholics. Like, I've got jokes, but I don't know how to write your story. But then they try to write their story because it feels the dynamic is very Workaholics. Three dudes. You got the not. What is the right? He's not fat. He's not chubby. He's just like an average white guy that somehow has body issues, and everyone calls him fat in the movie, and that's your Adam Devine. But it works because Devine, I don't know why, he's got that ability to make you feel bad for him, even though he's a good looking guy.
Sure.
But somehow we believe that he thinks that he is a schlub, and it's great. However he does that is wonderful. This guy can't do that. He doesn't.
When you compare these 3 dudes with the Workaholics dudes, and I haven't watched much of that show, but instantaneously, each of those guys is a fucking character, 24/7, with all sorts of a big pot. And that's the other thing is these 3 dudes don't want to make themselves look like negative.
Yep.
Right. The Workaholics dudes, I'm sure they revel in themselves being either assholes or worthless or jerks, which is the heart of comedy.
Yeah.
If you want
these guys don't want to be affected by things. They don't want to look like the butt of the joke. They want to make the comments. They want to. But here's the thing is that they set up their dynamic like the Workaholics group. So they're bringing that comparison on themselves, in my opinion.
Yep.
Because I also look at Lonely Island, which is who, obviously who they want to be. I shouldn't say that. I don't know them. But it feels like they've modeled themselves after a Lonely Island type of thing. Sure. And the thing about Lonely Island is they don't do that same setup as Workaholics. Like, they're a very different vibe right? Like, it's not like with three dudes, the only thing you can do is this story. I don't know.
And with the Lonely Island dudes, is they have one person who is someone who people consider a gifted performer.
You don't like Sandberg?
No, I hate it.
I don't blame you. I was just asking.
But in sketch comedy, he can shine incredibly at times. I don't like him in longer form stuff. That's just me. He's not my thing.
Because I'll be bringing this up later. Spoiler alert. Have you seen Hot Rod?
I think I started it and turned it off.
Oh my God, Dan, you're missing out on some comedic genius here. But that's so I spoiler alert, I rewatched Hot Rod after I watched this movie, because this is kind of that vibe for me, which is, the first SNL full length outing for this group. And it's not even in the same universe. It's unbelievable.
I'll have to try and watch it. But yeah, it's like I watched the first episode of Brooklyn Nine-Nine and I was like, okay, I can't watch this ever again. But it's like
I don't like that show.
Oh, yeah.
Just spoiler alert. And I will also say Hot Rod, he's my least favorite part, even though he's the main guy.
Sure.
But the movie itself is hilarious, and the core group around him is made up of some wonderful, wonderful people. And so there's a lot of straight man to his Andy Sambergness, and it balances it out very nicely.
Okay, well, I'll have to give it a try again. Okay,
you should.
Hour and 32 minutes. I think about 6 minutes of credits. So,
and we're gonna blow right past that on this podcast. Just FYI, everybody, strap in.
2 hours and 23 minutes. We start off with little Bruno Mars. We find out that somebody hid a gold statue of Marie Antoinette in this mountain. They left behind this compass, which is the key to finding it. The three dumb kids, when they're kids, they find it, but of course they don't realize the compass is the compass, and so they just put it in a drawer and don't look at it and don't do anything.
Already, let me just say, terrible intro to a movie, because they say that people have been looking for the treasure. Yes, but these kids found the compass in ankle-deep water on accident. You're telling me that people have been looking for 40 years, they never found it? These kids just stepped on it on accident? Nope, bad setup. I don't like it.
It might have been in some snow, and then the snow melted, and then it washed down to them.
I'm not accepting any explanations.
It's like how you find gold in a river as it comes down.
Sure, but people aren't looking for that specific piece of gold. Okay. You know what I mean?
Sure.
You just like gold just happens to flow sometimes. Like, people have been looking for that specific item for a long time. Because there's a legend about it. That's what the movie tells me. There's a legend. Only there's not a legend. And also, this movie's not about the legend, so I dislike the title.
Yeah. The three guys, short guy who his name is John, we're just going to call him Shorty. Redheaded guy, no idea if he has a name, and glasses guy, no idea if he has a name. We said the glasses guy's a redhead name a couple of times in the movie.
I'm sure they did. Yeah.
The John guy, they said his name a bunch because he's sort of the central character, but we're still going to call him Shorty.
Just out of disrespect, we'll just continue to call him Shorty.
The three of them live together. They all work at Trout Plus, which is owned by Redhead's dad, who's played by Conan O'Brien. They go outside, the car doesn't work, and so they have to roller boogie to work, and they're harassed by kids. First joke of the thing, one of the kids refers to one of the guys as Slender Man. Big laugh.
Yeah.
Good laugh.
Yeah, I didn't laugh, but I recognized it as a nice little comment. It's the first of many, many, many stand back and make references to something that the person who said it probably doesn't actually know.
There it is.
When was Slender Man a thing? Because it's not still a thing. Like, it's not still a fad.
Yeah.
Is it?
Kids still. Yeah. Oh yeah.
Okay.
Kids. Yeah. Kids still do all that stuff, and they look in the mirror and they say
Bloody Mary.
They say these things. Yes,
I've done that many times, my friend.
So as the kids are insulting them, their solution to the kids is they buy them beer. here you go, beers. And the kids are like, hail to the king, or whatever they do.
Was that a joke too?
No, but that was my
Okay, good. I thought maybe I missed 2 jokes in the first few minutes.
So they get to work Trot Plus, which is basically, what's the name of the outdoor place that it's like?
Well, there's a Gander Mountain is one. REI is one.
No, there's a real one.
Dick's Sporting Goods.
Dick's Sporting Goods, like a Dick's Sporting Goods.
I think Gander Mountain might be a Midwest chain.
I think
that might be my fault. I grew up with Gander Mountain. Beautiful.
Never heard of it. No such thing.
How dare you take away my childhood?
So Conan's the boss. He yells at them, "Why are you late? Blah, blah, blah." And then he's like, "You're in trouble because there's police outside because you sold alcohol to children." This is when the movie lost me.
Oh, okay. Good. Good. It never had me, but I'm glad that you got lost pretty quickly.
Well, this was the point at which I said, this is where we're going to be with the movie. Because they don't talk to the police. There's no repercussions of the police. No. It's never mentioned again. And they've written themselves an opportunity. Right? Like,
they set up a situation.
They set up a situation, a comedic situation. What does this mean? And they throw out a joke, and the joke is, that the police are here because you sold alcohol to kids, you gave alcohol to kids, and there's no repercussions. This is not the way the world works. So you've broken the world. So now the world is a world without consequences, and now we know there's never going to be consequences for anything for these characters.
Why, other than the fact that they think it's a joke, why can't they just be 3 hours late for work and get yelled at for that? Why do they need to sell alcohol to minors if they're not going to deal with it?
Well, because it's a joke. Because they can pan up and show cops outside, and that's a joke. Is that a
joke?
Yeah. It's a joke.
I don't know that that's a joke. That's the setup of a joke.
Yeah. Well, yeah, because they don't follow through with it, and that's
what I'm saying. So if you don't plan on doing that, why don't you just remove it? You cut out a nice 45 seconds to a minute of this piece of shit, and then you get yourself just a nice little. You still get to do your snow cone joke, which is the only joke that I giggled at in that scene. I can't even remember what the other jokes are. There was some.
Oh, he has red around his lips because they stopped for snow cones.
He's like, "What were you eating a snow cone?" That's a really good guess. That's a nice little line. It's a nice little line. I didn't laugh out loud. I just went, I recognize that as a joke. I just don't understand why it's still in there. If you're making a movie,
because that's the whole thing. Is everything that they think is funny is going to stay in the movie.
Well, see, now when you say it like that, it sounds like things that you say to me when I send you sketches and you give me your notes. And I'm like, no, I'm going to keep that in there because I think it's funny. So maybe I do the same. This is why I got kicked out of sketch comedy. I do the same thing.
You're right sometimes. You had
I'll take that.
You mispronounced something in that one sketch, and I was like, I don't know about this. And then you did it on stage, and everybody laughed. And I was like, I was wrong.
Sure.
And that's the whole thing is
one time.
And I mean, the whole, no, that's not the only time. I'm just saying that's a specific time. And that's the whole thing is, you got to show things to like multiple people. And if everybody's like, you got to lose, this is a stinker, and if somebody had shown me this script and you said there's cops out there, I would have just said to them, well, does that go anywhere? And then they would have said no. And I said, well, it doesn't raise the stakes.
Well, then get rid of it. Yeah.
And then you deal with it. Yeah. Or you deal with it. Or you write another joke. About, Conan yells at me. He's like, I had to pay them $500, you pieces of shit, to get rid of them. They're like,
great.
That's coming out of your pay. You're not getting paid. There you've written yourself another joke based on your thing, and you've answered. And that's the whole thing of all comedy is you do not want to push the audience away. And that's what you do. When you don't answer things, you push them away. When a person doesn't care about anything, you push them away. We want to be invested. We want to go on the path. We want to see these idiots punished horribly. Punish them. No, not going to do that. That'd be scary.
Scary.
Boom, boom, Coast boss. And then, but Conan likes the kid that does stuff named Dylan. It's very throwaway. We knew it wasn't ever really going to go anywhere.
Yeah. But why? I mean, listen, again, that's a situation that people would understand, and you can write jokes about it. Mm-hmm. You set it up. You don't give me any jokes about it. I don't even understand. Like, why? Why
Well,
is that?
they pay it off one time, and then when he finds the treasure, then Dylan's the whipping boy, and you're like, no,
Yeah.
Dylan's always going to be its favorite.
Yep.
This
Even
kid
if you find a
cannot.
treasure, yes.
Oh, no, you should have seen what Dylan did. There's the joke, right?
Yep.
He comes back with the treasure, and Conan's like, "Oh, great, but did you want to see what Dylan did? Look at this. He mopped the floor. He did this. Boom." This
Right.
kid's like, he's crestfallen. He's done everything, but instead he's done the thing, and now Dad accepts him. I'm like, what?
Yeah.
He can't
Nah.
accept him.
Nope. Huge mistake.
Not till the
Mainly
end
because
of the
in
third
life,
act.
spoiler alert, everybody, in life, that doesn't happen.
It doesn't happen. Things don't change. They're still not going to get it. They're only going to get it, after you've, had a 20-year perfect career and you're at the Academy Awards, and they're like, oh,
Okay.
so this is what you do. I actually care about. And then they meet Brad Pitt, and they're like, oh, Brad Pitt. Wait, you know Brad Pitt? And they're
Yeah.
like, whoa, okay, now I respect you finally. But still, when we get home, you're a piece of shit.
That's right. Amen to that.
Okay, Boy's Life, Part 1.
Dan, I have a real question. Were there more than one part? I only remember part 1.
No, there's all the parts. There's like three or 4 parts.
It's weird. I don't know. I feel like I was only I think I was fading pretty quickly in this movie, but I missed all of the other slates.
Yeah, also John Goodman does the voiceover, and then at one point he's like, I'm John Goodman and I'm doing the voiceover of this movie, and you're like, huh? Weird.
I mean, why is there a voiceover in the movie?
Lazy writing.
Okay.
That's always why you have a voiceover.
You always get me. You look and you sound like you're going to answer so earnestly, and then you just like, nah, fuck you.
That's called comedy.
It's good. It gets me every time, though. I feel like a fool.
You think I respect you? I don't respect you at all.
So my mistake is just a very base level. Yes. I am misunderstanding. Oh, okay, I gotcha.
I understand our relationship perfectly.
Okay.
You're the whipping boy.
If I can get myself to realize that you don't respect me, I won't fall for it every time.
I mean, I love my wife. I'm terrible to her. Because I'll just run bits, and she's just, it's like putting the hand in the fire, and you're just like, I'm always like, well, why don't you stop putting your hand in the fire? And people never stop putting their hand in the fire.
We can't be. Well, you're expecting us to have some sort of rational thought before we do something. It just comes naturally to me.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
You're a trusting person.
I'm a trusting person, and I love you, and we hang out all the time, and I thought we were friends, and so I guess we're not.
Trusting the wrong person. No, and that's the key to comedy is you switch. You're never on solid ground. And these three guys are always walking together, always on solid ground. No, I mean, there's one bit in here that's a really good bit that you're like, oh man, really? You should have retroactively written this into the entire plot. No, it would have been fucking hilarious.
Really? Oh, please remember to bring that up, Dan. Don't forget.
So then there's this weird thing where Glasses talks to a girl, and it seems to be going well. Then, like, the other guys are, like, talking to girls, and you're just like, wait, what is happening? And then all these girls just sort of disappear. It was really weird.
I don't even know if I remember this.
This little dark-haired mousy girl, she comes back at the end. It's just, like, really weird. I was like, oh, this is all a bunch of setup for stuff, and then it just
disappears. Sure. Which it seems to be a running theme here.
Yeah. So now we're going to find out what's going on.
Okay.
Shorty wants to do flight suit with the guys, and they want to drink some drink called Truly. Is that a real drink?
Not that I don't know, but This is a great moment for product placement if it is.
Yeah. But Glasses can't do it because he's got to go to get baptized. And then Ginger's looking for the love of his... Oh, he has to pitch his dad. So
he's getting ready for his big pitch.
His big pitch, which is not a big pitch and sort of is just a tiny sketch.
Yeah.
Then we get the flashback to Shorty being a magician in the talent show.
Oh, boy.
Where he sets himself on fire, then he sets his dick on fire, then his dick is out. Well, and then a teacher goes down there to try to put out his dick with his
Yeah.
mouth, and the teacher gets
No,
thrown out.
not with his mouth. He was going, he was blowing on it, but he was patting it. Okay, hold on. We have to break this down because this is where I got mad.
Okay, good.
This was the first time I was like, nope, these guys aren't good at anything. So the kid sets his hands on fire because he's a magician on accident, right? And then for whatever reason, his penis is out, which they think in itself is a joke. And I guess maybe it is. I don't know. I just feel like, and this is going to sound weird, I feel like in the last decade, we've seen a lot of penises and they're no longer as funny. And I know that probably sounds weird, but when penises used to be funny, it was the shock value of seeing a penis on screen because up until, more recent times, you never saw male genitalia on screen. So then when you do, it's like, whoa, what's happening? Forgetting Sarah Marshall, when he whips his dick back and forth, it's funny. I've never seen that before. I've never seen a guy do that on screen before. It's funny. This is nothing. This is just a reference to a penis. Not that funny anymore. It's 2023. We've seen a lot of dick. So then he covers it with his hands, right, which are on fire, and then sets his penis on fire. That's not how penises work, Dan. Penises don't combust. I don't know if you've ever tried to set your penis on fire.
He's got some petroleum jelly or something on there that is.
You think that's what it is?
Yeah, that's what it is. And that's why it continues to burn. Okay,
continue. And then the teacher comes over to try to save this kid's life, or at the very least his penis, and then they're going to fire him for it? That doesn't make any sense. It doesn't make any sense. It's not even a joke at that point.
Everyone saw he was trying to help the kid. He was not trying to molest the kid.
He didn't do anything inappropriate. It was just dumb. It's just dumb. He was in a room full of people that were watching a child burn to death. And he's the only person that did something, and then the joke is that then he's fired. Nope.
And then the glasses then praises the kid's penis.
Yeah.
You're just like, I don't understand.
Again, that it's just not a joke, and
it's just weird. It's just weird. It's just weird. It's weird. It's weird.
You know what's again back to forgetting Sarah Marshall. Great joke in that where the doctor is looking at Peter. His name's Peter in the movie. His dick, because he thinks he's got a disease, and he's I
love how you remembered that character's name from that.
That's
movie.
What I'm saying, because it's a real character in a real movie. But it's a great moment. The doctor's looking at the penis, and he's like, "It's a good-looking dick, Peter." That's funny.
But you see, this is like almost like a callback to that, but it's a callback that doesn't make any sense.
It doesn't make any sense whatsoever.
You're just like you're lifting that joke from that thing, which essentially they are, right?
I mean, I don't know. It sure
but
seems
you're
that
like,
way.
It's weird. If your friend like looks at your dick and goes, you have a good looking dick, you're gonna be like, wait, what?
You have to make a real joke out of it.
And not to make it homophobic, just like that's weird. When you start commenting on your friends' private parts. They're your friends.
And this is just me. I just don't think they're... Not that I want them to make a big deal out of it, but there needs to be a second joke to that.
Yeah, what's the point of that? Why is he saying
exactly?
Is this a thing that he's always saying? He's all like, okay, what?
We never mention it again.
What was the thing where, God, there was like some sketch or some real thing where the person would go into the restroom and then try to engage people in the restroom. Oh, what was that from?
Engage people in the restroom?
Yes, they're like in the public restroom, and the guy's like, "Hey, how's it going?" And it's so weirdly uncomfortable, and it leads to an escalation, and then they do it with multiple people. Oh, this is on a British show. Oh, no,
that sounds exactly right.
It was a John Wilkinson bit from a British show, for a British comedy show.
Okay, yeah.
And when he does it, there's all the it's a British panel show, and there's all these other comedians. The one guy is literally dying from it being so funny because it's it's just so inappropriate, and you have to make it inappropriate because it is weird.
Well, and that's I don't know. It's just it needs to have either a second joke in that scene, or we need to hit it again where either that friend loves this guy's dick, right? And not in a
sexual
not
way.
in that kind of way. Just like, you got a really nice dick, man. You should be proud of it. You know what I mean? Like something.
You ever thought about taking up nude modeling? You know
Great,
what I mean?
Yeah. Like, I don't know. It's just something that they just kind of threw out. It was just like, there's nothing to this, and I like the idea. I want more. I want more dick.
What was the other thing? Somebody always tells a story about working on some show, and they write a good joke, and the showrunners bring them in there, and they're like, "Good joke," and the guy's like, "Oh, they're gonna pat me on the head," and the guy's like, "Okay, we'll write 10 more." And that's the thing you have to do. It's like every joke should be looked at, and you're like, okay, well, how am I gonna move this somewhere?
And here's the thing: there's even like his dick comes out again when he's flying at the end. Why isn't there a joke there other than we see a dick flapping in the wind? That's not funny anymore.
It was zero funny.
It's just like, it's a penis. I don't care anymore. I see a lot of penises.
Okay, now we continue. What's his glasses? Shows up in the baptism outfit. It's this huge yellow suit.
Yeah. I don't get it.
Well, it's kind of like it does look good, and it's big, and I guess it's a joke on the kind of fashion that you wear to a baptism.
I mean, listen, I was baptized when I was very small, so I don't actually remember it. I don't understand it, because then later during the sale, he has a big suit on again. I think it's a different big suit.
Mm-hmm.
I wasn't paying enough attention, but
she makes him buy all big suits for a normal reason.
Okay. I thought maybe I missed the joke.
I think they think it looks funny on him, which it looks funny on him-ish, but it's not. It
does. Like,
it's just kind of.
It looks like he's wearing his dad's clothes as a child a little bit, but there's no joke to it. I don't know.
Then we do the whole thing with the girlfriend. She wants to buy a house, and she's looking at this expensive houses. He's like, "Oh, let me see that." And he moves the Zillow thing down there to a lower thing, and then they start looking at the house, and there's this creepy woman in each different picture. Very funny.
Great sketch here.
Great little bit.
It doesn't have anything to do with the movie, but it's a nice little sketch. I like it a lot. It's very relatable. I go through this all the time. She's sending me listings all the time. 400, 500, 600,000. I'm like, what's going on? What are we doing here?
You want to toggle thing down?
Let's look for a piece of land at 15,000 and we'll put a tent on it.
Yeah, it's like, we all, that is entirely relatable. Then there's the creepy woman in each of the pictures,
which is a fun little escalation. I like it.
There it is. They understand. They understand it, because each one of those pictures, she gets bigger, and then she booms out. Yeah. Boom. You understand how to write comedy. Now you have to look at your whole script, and
that's too much. It's too unwieldy, Dan. In their defense, it's probably 90 pages. They're used to looking at things that are 2 to 3 pages. That's a lot.
So then Ginger pitches his dad on like a salon for boys, where boys will go there and get their haircuts. I didn't get this.
I don't get the joke, because that's just that's a barbershop, right? Isn't that already a thing? That should be the joke somewhere.
Well, I think the sort of joke is, it's where boys can get together and like rap, but because boys don't do that exact. I mean, they do, but they don't do it like there. And so the idea is to do it there. Okay.
I don't know. I don't get it. I didn't think that it was good.
But you like the interchange between him and Conan.
I just thought that these scenes together, the acting was nice. Because I honestly think that, in my opinion, he's the best of the three.
That's what I was going to ask. You think he's the best of the 3 actors?
I do, and I think that it really shows when he's in scenes outside of the group, because when they're together, they're all the same.
Yeah,
that's a big problem I have with it. They are not individual characters almost at all. They all have the same sensibilities, the same way they kind of attack lines for the most part. Like, it's all very similar. It's very monotonous to me. But when he's away from the group, I think he's got the most potential.
Got it. Yeah,
That's
and I
just
mean,
me. How do you feel?
I feel pretty good.
I meant about the three. Do you have a favorite, Dan?
I mean, I think my whole issue is that Shorty is the main guy, and he's just not very interesting. And so the other two, not being the main guy, just sort of stand there as two people that sort of are always sort of moving like this. And so you're like, I never can get into it.
Yeah, that's fair. That's totally fair.
Shorty is off doing VR poker night. And while he's doing that, he's watching videos of animals having sex.
Well, hold on. That's actually two separate beats here, Dan.
Oh, okay.
The first beat is virtual poker, which doesn't really make any sense because with the
kids he bought beer. It was the kids he bought beer for that he's playing with for some weird reason.
Because now they're friends? Because that's cool. The police were like, as long as you hang out with them more, we'll let it slide. I don't understand the joke to this because he's able to like punch them in this gambling game and then flip the table. That's not a game that would ever exist.
Nope.
It's just not a thing. And why are they the only three there if it's a virtual world? I didn't understand what was happening here. And then we get to him scroll. He's basically doom scrolling, and animal porn comes up, and he has a nice little line where he's like, "What is wrong with my algorithm?" That's a funny line-ish, which I like, but it doesn't. Then he just scrolls again, and everything's fine. Like, if there's something wrong with your algorithm, there should be a couple of beats here where it's like, oh, that's strange. That's weirder. What the fuck is going on? Turn off my phone or something. I don't know. I don't know.
You gotta, yeah. And then he sees a film about the treasure, and then he just scrolls past it. So you're like, okay.
Which, by the way, Dan, in Hot Rod, my wife reminded me of this earlier. Now I'm just remembering she said it. There is also an animal sex joke in Hot Rod where the brother is going to show the main guy his like cool video, and animal porn pops up, and he's like, "Oh no, that's something else I'm working on for mom," which is really funny.
That's a joke.
It's a joke, and I was like, "And why? This is just." They're like, "Hey, remember that time Lonely Island had two docs doing it? Let's do that, but forget to write a joke about it."
And in the Kevin Hart movie, there's like a weird animal sex one. I don't remember what the joke was, but it was funny.
It was funny, and this is something I'll forget immediately.
Yeah, because it wasn't a thing. We go to the baptism. They have gift bags at the baptism.
Is that a thing? I don't know.
Shorty's talking to a girl, and then we get the whole setup of Lawrence, which I'm sure is your favorite person. The glasses if he's given this different pair of glasses, he becomes the world's biggest badass, Lawrence, who sort of talks in a different voice and sort of says, "I'm gonna kick your ass. I'm gonna do this," and it's weird.
Dan, there was this one movie we watched. I don't know if you remember. It's called The Machine.
Oh yeah, The Machine,
which is basically what this is. They're doing like a machine bit. Sorta.
Oh, yeah, they sort of are doing a machine bit.
But kind of not really at all. And I just found that very strange since The Machine just came out, and that's something they definitely could have been referencing.
Well, they know that bit.
Oh, for sure. Oh, of course. Of course they do. Yeah, I mean, Bert was probably on SNL at one point, too. Who knows? No? Bert never did SNL?
I don't believe so.
I wouldn't invite him to do SNL either because I don't think he's funny. Anywho, I know you would, Dan.
Go Bert.
Here's my problem with this scene.
Yeah.
Shorty goes to the girl and he's like, "Oh, you never heard of Lawrence? I'm going to show you this video. It's really cool." And then it was just a slideshow of pictures. That's not a video. No, I mean, it's a video of sorts, but
he was explaining how cool Lawrence was.
Right. Like, show me a video of Lawrence doing something, because you just said, "I'm going to show you this cool video. It's going to blow your mind." And then you you show me a slideshow of pictures from 1994. I don't understand what's going on.
And at this point, Shorty puts it all together. Something happens. He sees something about the treasure, and he realizes.
She says words, and he does a cognitive thing where he connects these words. Let me ask you a question. Yeah. Since this is the catalyst to the rest of the movie, the story of the movie, quote unquote, what would you think instead, Dan? Oh boy,
angry dog.
What would you think if Shorty had always been obsessed with the treasure?
That would have made sense.
And has had these friends go on other random, excursions, and they always end up failing. And this is the time he's really got to figure it out. And then he has to convince the other guys to go. That would be a fun catalyst for a movie.
Well, yeah. I mean, I wrote a Space Duck story, or maybe I was working on a Space Duck story, where he buys like a fake treasure map, and that just leads to a whole thing. And that's, this guy buys the fake treasure. He's obsessed with it, and then he thinks this is the way to make their friendship come back together. So he tricks them into going on this thing, and then it all works out.
Oh, yeah. No, I like that better. Yeah. I like that even better. Like this, he doesn't have the realization, but he notices his friends are leaving him, and so he's like, "I've got it figured out. But he doesn't have it figured out, and then that's how they can have a nice fallout. To get back together in the third act and then actually find the treasure.
This is bullshit. I like that, Dan. This is not a map. You didn't know anything. This is all happenstance that this happened. And he's all like, yeah, and then he makes the admission, and then they're like, screw you.
Yeah, I just wanted us to spend time together.
My girlfriend. He gives a whole...
You're like, we've got shit we should have been doing. Yep.
Does anybody
Does
anybody ever give their speech? Right?
No. I mean, other than... Bowen? Thank you.
Bowen. I didn't think you could make Bowen Yang not funny, but they found a way.
As someone who doesn't watch SNL, this is kind of all I've seen him in. And so far, I am not a fan.
Oh,
but
God.
I knew. I don't actually think that. I'm like, okay, this is obviously this bringing him down. I would like to see something he's good in, because this is disappointing.
Oh, yeah. He's so funny. He just get to the Bowen Yang stuff, and you're just like... Okay, so he said, we need to do this. Part 2. They go to the visitor center of the place where the mountain is.
I was writing notes during that. That's why I didn't see this one. Yep.
And so immediately there's 2 rangers, African-American lady, Megan Salter. Megan Salter and him fall in love instantaneously. We know that they're going to be in love, and there's going to be a very slight conflict. And then he, like a dumbass, tells her that they're there to look for the treasure, which just doesn't make any sense. Just is he dumb? If we set him up as dumb, okay, but
I know
you're not going to tell someone, "Oh, we're here to look for the treasure, and we have the map to the treasure." What?
Yeah, I'm okay if she figures it out.
Of course, but
that's
it has to be subtle.
Yes, and he just literally tells her. So that doesn't make any sense. Yeah.
And he never suffers for that, right?
Nope.
The other boys never find out that he did this dumb thing. Doesn't matter. And it's like, these are your points where your guys break up. That's the dumbest thing ever. It's like, you did what? Okay. Yeah.
Yep.
And we know that they're in love because they both go to their separate people and are like, I'm in love with her. I'm in love with him.
Yeah.
Essentially.
Yeah. I mean, they might as well have, because I don't think there were jokes in this scene. They might as well just saved us a couple of seconds there and just been like, yeah, we love each other. Move on.
And so the other Taylor, the other park ranger, she's all like, we got to get that map. You're going to act like you care about him, and you're going to steal the map. And she's like, okay. Then the boys walk through the forest, and they do it. This is what I wrote. They walk with bits that don't land.
Yes.
Didn't write any of them down.
Did you write the hawk down? Is that the hawk part yet?
That's the next thing.
That's the next one. Okay. So this one was just talking bits.
This was just talking. Next thing, we have this hawk. The hawk follows them, and it runs after them, and they run away. And it sort of scares them, and then nothing happens.
So, shouldn't
they have had to run into the mud, run off a cliff, do something happen with this hawk
Well,
scaring them, right?
it's all leading up for them. It's all leading up for their quote unquote big joke of they climb and the bird won't fly, and they get to say,
Oh,
"Doesn't he know that he can fly?"
oh yeah, they climb up a tree and they say he can't fly. Okay.
Yeah, it's not funny. I don't understand. I mean, they bring the bird back later at the end for a bit that I do enjoy. No, you didn't like the end of the movie? We'll get there.
If the movie? No, I did not.
We'll
like
get
the
there. Yeah, we'll get there. We'll get there. I do like one
we
of the
make
jokes
it
they
there.
make.
We might. This might have to be a two-parter.
Okay. I don't understand. I don't understand, Dan.
Okay.
Yeah.
So then they set up camp. It's night. The Girl Rangers show up, and then they start playing charades. The weird guy cooks a fish, and then he overcooks it. Not the weird guy. I think the redhead.
Yeah,
and
Ginger.
then he eats the head, which was kind of funny.
I feel like it would be funnier if they pushed it harder that he thinks he's an outdoorsman.
Sure.
And so he has to prove that he's doing it right. Like, do you remember the first episode of I Think You Should Leave? Like the very first bit is when he does the job interview, and then he's leaving, and he's like, "Oh, I think it's a push," and then he pulls, and he just keeps on. That's the idea you need to have here, which is like, yeah, he's done it wrong. He knows that, you know that, but he needs to double down and pretend that this is absolute. No, I eat this. I do this all the time, and then he's got to eat it, And they just don't. They just do. They just think the joke is, oh, and what if he ate the head? No.
There's a million jokes that you could write after that. They don't write. They write zero of them.
Yeah, you got to push harder. You got to go further. You got to write. Oh, okay. We have the idea of a joke. Okay, what's the next step? What's the next? Give me A to C, and then maybe we'll start there.
Yeah. So Lisa and Shorty go into the tent. I thought they were going to have sex. There's something. I wrote weird song bit. There's something about a song. Does he do like a rap song or something?
They both sing something. I don't even know how it exact. She's like, okay, the game is we each have to sing an original song. I don't understand. I don't get it.
They may have sung real songs. They may have done songs they were making up, didn't make any sense, didn't mean anything, and then it was over and we were happy. Then they make out.
Dan, wait, we need to pause.
Yeah.
Because I just looked at my notes and we missed my one laugh of the movie.
So your one big laugh? What was it?
My one big laugh, it's back at when they're doing the after party for his dunking his head in water.
Oh, the baptism. Oh,
the baptism. Thank you. With the gift bags, but it's before he shows her the video. Shorty is eating pigs in a blanket.
Oh yeah, that was funny.
And he just goes, "I just like the blanket bit," and he sucks the bread off the hot dog. That was the first time that I laughed out loud in the movie. That's a nice visual joke.
It's weird.
That's one of the jokes that doesn't need more explanation. It's better left as it is. Perfect. Sorry, I just wanted to throw that out there because I'm talking a lot of shit on the movie. I like to recognize the things I enjoyed.
So 10 out of 10, that's what you're giving the movie.
This is a 12 out of 10 just because of that one joke.
The two guys in Taylor then played Truth or Dare?
I guess.
Yeah. They wake up in the morning. They're tied up. The two guys are tied up outside. What's his name comes out. They're tied up in sleeping bags, and they're all mad at him because he slept till 2:00. I like that joke. But then they just instantly untie themselves. It's a throwaway.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So here's this scene. I like the idea of this scene a lot. I think Shorty needs to come out more excited, even though they're tied up, and be talking about how wonderful his night was. He met the girl, and they're like, and then it takes them a while to understand, and then they do it, and they're like, bro, you slept till fucking 2:00. We've been here for hours. Like, this is a great setup for a scene, and they just shit all over. They're just like, nah, let's get to some not funny things instead.
And they burn through that's the other thing is they burn through these scenes so fast, and you're just
it's the TikTok generation, Dan. We only have 30 seconds to do a scene. Wait, what is TikTok? A minute? I'm so old.
I don't know.
Whatever. TikTok is a minute. We need to get it done in a minute. All right, sorry.
And then they look at the compass, and then they figure out that they peel off a picture, and inside there's words, and the compass basically just points where they need to go. So they're like, "Oh, this solves everything."
Which is, I mean, I'm sure it's been done other times, but that's Pirates of the Caribbean.
Oh, is
the
it?
compass doesn't point north. I mean, that's like the whole bit of the movie.
So they get to this point, and they're like on this sort of edge of a cliff, sort of. And then they're like, "This is why we brought the wingsuits, so that we can fly across over to this."
But did they only bring one?
No, they brought all three.
Because only one guy does it.
Yeah, but they have three. Because they have three later.
Yeah, I mean, you're right. There is three at the end. Why is only one? I don't know.
It was just weird. But the concept is they have to fly over this area when it's going to end up that where they're going is right below them. So once again, it doesn't make any sense.
No, it doesn't make any sense.
The one guy puts it on, he becomes a kite, and then they're holding on to him, and then they all just fall off the cliff. Yep. And they land at the bottom, and where they're looking for is right there, and no one was hurt.
Yeah, I mean, listen, you're obviously not going to hurt people in this type of movie, but if you're going to do that, the scene before it better have been much funnier.
Oh, it was very not funny.
Right. I agree. There's like a joke where he sends a video of it to his dad somehow.
Accidentally sends a video.
Accidentally records, then forwards and sends a message to his dad.
Instead of deleting, because it's so easy. The difference between sending something and deleting something is two buttons right next to each other.
It's so hard
No.
Yeah, I don't know. The whole scene's not funny. I should be laughing so hard that I don't even care that you're not dead.
They do the chant, "Let me be your guide, and riches you will find." And they do this other times, and it never lands and is never funny.
Yeah, I was thinking about this, and I don't know the answer, and I don't know if you do either. Do you remember the Goonies at all?
No.
Okay, maybe someone in the, or one or two comments could tell me if there is a similar chant or something like that in the Goonies, and this is like a play on it. I don't know. That was the only thing I could think of that there would be a reason to do this because it's not funny or good.
Yeah. So cavern looks like a thing made out of plexiglass, not plexiglass, like fiberglass that somebody just built.
It is.
Here, it looks totally fake, looks totally bogus.
Just put there.
They didn't spend any money on this. They put the thing, the door opens, the door looks totally fake. They go inside. This is my biggest laugh of the movie. Oh, the one guy says, "Smells like bussy in here," because Taylor, I think it said bussy.
Yeah. I don't know. I think that's a joke that's maybe fairly old, I think.
I don't know
at this
joke.
Point.
Never heard that.
But
never heard that.
Oh, you never heard it? Okay, well, see, it's brand new to you. Hilarious. 10 out of 10.
And then they look over and there's this door, and the door has like a submarine door thing to spin, and then the one guy says, "That looks like SpongeBob's door." I laughed my ass off.
You like that one? Okay.
Love that joke because it looked like SpongeBob's door. And
it does.
It didn't make any sense why it would look like SpongeBob's door. And I was like, okay, now we're going to have all these. We're going to have 3 or 4 SpongeBob references. Bang, bang, bang. They're going to do something else, and they're going to be like, "Oh my god, it looks like Patrick." No, that was it.
Yeah, that would be good.
Gone.
That's how you escalate, Dan. That's how you do it. But they don't care. They don't care at all.
How could they have known about SpongeBob? This is from. What does that mean? No, they don't do any of that.
Nope.
And then they figure out that there's a painting, and it says they have to work together. And the one work together thing they start off is they all throw like a table at the door, which I thought was kind of funny, but kind of weird.
Yeah, I mean, it's because it says you have to work together in harmony. And one guy had been throwing a chair, so the conceit was, "Oh, we'll all throw it together." I feel like it could have been funny. It wasn't done very well.
Yeah, they have to escalate.
But also, like, it says it, and there's a piano in the room. Like, we all know what really needs to happen.
Oh, I didn't know.
Oh, you didn't know?
I never know. I'm the worst.
I never know. One of them was like sitting at the piano when he read, "You must be in harmony." And I was like, okay, yeah, you got to sing.
Then he starts to sing, and then the other guys sing, and then the door opens.
Yeah.
Do you want to talk about what's inside the chamber?
I still don't quite understand what the animal is,
It's a hairless bear.
but it led to my next joke that I like.
Yeah.
Which so they open it. It's some ugly animal that like hisses at them. They all shut the door and they're acting terribly, but pretending to be grossed out or scared or anything. But what I love is that Shorty is just like, you know what? Forget the money, not worth it. That's a good joke to me.
Yeah, doesn't want to deal with it.
Yeah.
So they use the crappy food that Glasses has, and they're able to get in there and get the thing. And then they walk home doing a Soldier Boy dance, whatever.
Yeah. Dan, how much more do we have in the movie?
So much more.
I have this. That was my last note.
That was your last note.
I stopped taking notes at this point
because
I was so fed up.
So that night they celebrate. They drink more Trulies. They call Dad. They call Amy. Shorty is sad because it's all about the end. Then they start, of course, talking about how they're going to spend the money. Glasses is going to have to give $5 million to the Catholic Church. That was funny. And then, so it's the next day. They're going there, and then here come the Rangers, and then they all sort of fight, and then Taylor steals the thing. No, this might be still at night. I don't remember.
No, I think it's day, isn't it?
Maybe.
I don't know.
Yeah, it is. There's fighting, there's running, there's hitting. They keep on hitting each other, hitting the women and hitting them in the throat. And then someone barfs. And then Lisa and Shorty are over there talking and making up. And so they hug. But then Shorty chooses the guys over Lisa. And then this was the part I liked. The ginger was about this. He's in the car because the Rangers have a car. And he's got the thing. And it's just him. And he actively considers leaving them.
Yes.
And I'm like, this is his character. This is the character he plays throughout the movie.
But he doesn't.
He doesn't. From point one, he should be thinking he got to go, and this is why in a movie you need to understand the history of movies. There's a movie called The Treasure of Sierra Madre. Do you know that movie, Tony?
Nope.
It's a Humphrey Bogart movie. They go out there.
Humphrey Bogart? What is this, 1812?
It is 1812. And they work at this mine, and then they get all this gold, and then they're coming back. There's 3 of them, and what do? They end up, I don't know if they kill each other or whatever, but they all become paranoid, and that's, you have to do Treasure of the Sierra Madre, and that's what we start to do that, and then the other guy catches him. He's like, were you going to run away? And he's like, no. And then they confront him later, and he's like, yes, I was. And then there's no consequence.
And then it's not. And they're like, oh, that's cool. Thanks for telling us. Yeah, no, it's a nice character moment for a character that doesn't exist.
Is his best character moment.
It's unfortunate.
Yeah. So then they...
You know what, Dan, I just want to throw it. You know what's a better movie than this, but it's kind of almost exactly the same? Without a Paddle. Did you ever watch that?
I knew you were going to say that. I've never seen it, but I knew you were going to say that movie. I was going to say the one with Seth Green. That's the movie you're going to say.
Well, I mean, it's the one with Dax Shepard. Let's be real.
That's why I'll never see it.
You son of a bitch! Why don't you like Dax? Dax is great. Oh, man, you remember that Cops? What is it? Chips. That's a 10 out of 10. When he's carrying him to the bathroom and his head hits the penis. See, there's a good penis joke.
That was funny.
His head goes face first into the penis. That's a good joke. Me just saying, hey, you have a nice penis. But not a joke.
See, that was a homophobia joke, though.
You're right. It was
a homophobia joke, and these guys are never going to make anything
That's true. Nor should you.
That goes anywhere near that.
And I get it, but the visual of his face hitting the penis is funny.
And that's the whole point is Michael Pena was not, I mean, in some ways, I'm not saying you should be homophobic, but that you can have a character that can have, they're not going to do it anymore, but
sure.
You know, the characters have negative opinions. Negative traits. Yeah. And it's bad, but
I mean, people are people. They are fully formed, rounded people. These people aren't.
Okay, so let's see. So then they're going to walk home. What's his name? Confesses. They continue. They reach the commune that is run by Bowen Yang, and he's a guy that used to be searching for the thing, and now he's set up a commune. They all wear purple. The whole bit with him wearing a big head. He mistakes them for Asians and black people, and it's weird.
I don't get any of it.
And so then they join, and they're all wearing embarrassing suits, and so they make fun of each other. And then the one guy says, "You look like a gumdrop farmer." That's a good joke.
Yeah. Great. Yeah. They can write a ad joke, you know?
There's another one jokes I really like. So they're going to dinner. Okay. And they pan over to this one guy, and he looks really weird. He's bald, and he's strange. And the guy says, "These are the skin masks that we wear when we go to town to blend in."
That's right. Yeah.
It was so good. It looks so weird.
They're terrified. They're the scariest faces ever.
And then they also have a bit where they've been here so long, they say... They have a saying, and it's "all lives matter," and so the guys are like, "No, you can't say all lives matter." But they don't even do it super funny, you know. They're just like, "No, you can't." You see, what happened was, no, you're not gonna. Oh man,
yeah. You just gotta. It's what's hard is like you have to. It's a sensitive topic, right?
Yeah.
So I just think that they think just kind of mentioning it is enough to be the joke, which in all fairness does feel like as far as we're allowed to go this day and age for the most part. But I just think, it's just scared. Like you have to make the joke. You have to do a joke out of it. It's just mentioning it isn't the joke to me.
Well, the three guys should have had to try to explain to them in minute detail why it's not appropriate, and it could have gotten really funny. So you're saying all lives don't matter? No, that's not what we're saying.
Exactly, because you have to do the thing where you kind of play both sides of that fence, even though we all know that you live on this side of the fence. You have to earnestly play both sides of the fence to make the joke work.
Yes, because you could understand how someone might think that all lives matter makes sense because all lives do matter. But
I'm not. I know we're not saying they don't, but what we're saying, I mean, it's
a nuanced point. But these three guys, they cannot play that sensitive weirdness where you're calling both things into question. You have to call both things into question. It's subtle.
Yeah.
Okay. And so he hid the thing. He hid it under Bowen Yang's throne. Shorty has a taser, and then this was one of my least favorite parts of the movie. They all start tasering each other for some reason.
Yep. Yeah. I don't know. It's dumb.
So the Bowen Yang's like, we're here to destroy the treasure, so they're going to destroy the treasure, and they're going to drop it down into a fire, which doesn't make any sense. If it's gold, it's not even going to be affected by a normal fire, I wouldn't think.
Well, unless you got like a really hot fire.
Yeah. And then, what's his name? Shorty goes out there and somehow does his magic trick with mirrors and steals the head away. Where
do you get the mirrors, Dan?
And that's the whole thing. You say that, and you're like, why?
Show me a mirror. Show me a mirror earlier. Give me a couple of mirrors. Like looking at mirrors, at least tip the tiniest bit, so that when you get to the point where the line where you're just like, it's just mirrors, bro. It's always mirrors. I'm not like, where are the mirrors from? You're in the middle of nowhere. You got 9 mirrors to make a magic trick?
Yeah. So the guys get the treasure and they take off. But they don't take off. Shorty decides to stay, and then he says, maybe we don't deserve it. I don't understand that line.
I don't know.
We haven't struggled. They fight again. And then we do a whole
You remember Tropic Thunder, Dan?
One of the greatest comedies of all time, yes.
When Tug Speedman decides to stay behind, that's a joke. That's a great moment. This doesn't mean anything. This is a joke.
But why he stays behind so that the others can escape? I think, right?
No, he stays behind so he can be with his son. And he's like, these people accept me. I'm performing 3 sold out shows a day. Like, he feels like he belongs. So he's staying, and they're like, what are what are you talking about? And then 3 seconds later, he's coming back and he's being stabbed in the neck by the kid. It's brilliant. This is not a joke. Why is this guy doing an out of character moment for no joke?
And what he should do is he should be like, I'll slow them down and so you can
Great.
escape.
Yeah, something other than just like, I'm just going to hang out. See you guys later.
Because I don't have anything back home except all this money, but he doesn't have anything
we're
here.
About to be rich, but I'm going to stay here for nothing.
Then there's like a whole weird bit where they talk about having sex with my dad and sucking on his nuts. What was that?
Wait, are you sure you didn't just write that yourself?
Yeah,
I don't remember
I wrote that myself. I was like, sex with my dad, sucking on his nuts. No, Tony, this was some weird thing in this movie.
I don't remember that at all.
Okay, so they get home. Part 4, 2 weeks later. Ginger has a beard now. He's become his dad. Glasses is wearing another big different suit. And then another good joke. I got a number of good jokes on here on this last page.
Okay.
He says Glasses says to Ginger, you look like if Reba was on Undercover Boss.
Oh yeah, yeah. No, that was good. Yeah.
And then they look up and boom, right next to their table is one of the guys in the skin suits. Yeah, and he's there, and his eyes bug out.
It's pretty wild.
I don't know if he really did that or if that was CGI, but it was.
I don't know.
So good.
Scary. It's terrifying.
And it's Shorty. He pulls off the mask, and then he's all like, I love the cult. He's like, help me. I love the cult. Please save me. And they're all like, oh.
Which wasn't performed good enough, in my opinion, to be funny. And I feel like I can't pinpoint it, but I feel like I've seen this exact scene before somewhere, and I don't remember where it is. I was going to try to look last night, but then I watched Hot Rod instead.
Probably the right choice. Yeah, we find out that they found a buyer. They're selling it tonight at Trout Plus. They found a big player. They used some really specific wording.
Yeah, I don't know.
So boom, our boys go to Trout Plus where they're doing a photo shoot.
Yep.
I wrote Glasses is eating, and so then they're doing a photo shoot, and then what's his name leaves. Ginger leaves takes a motorcycle and goes and picks up Glasses to go save Shorty. Yeah. Boom, at the cult, Lisa and Shorty are fighting, and then he tells the cult accidentally everything about the thing being sold. So the cult's like, okay, we're going to go get the thing or destroy it.
And here's the problem, Dan. Earlier in the movie, he voluntarily gave the information to the antagonist. Just straight up told her everything.
Yep.
Later, he accidentally tells everyone everything because his walkie is open. You can't. No. He has to just volunteer the information again.
I see.
Like it has to be a care. Like there's just no reason. He volunteered that information. He needs to volunteer it again. I don't know. It's just dumb.
So the buyer is here. Who's the buyer, Tony?
I'm going to say his last name wrong because I never remember. It was Gaten Maserati. That's what I call him. Dustin from Stranger Things.
I think it's Matarazzo, I believe.
Yeah, it's some Italian sounding kind of Matarazzo. Boy, is that guy talented, and they just waste him. I get it. I get why you would sign up to do a cameo, but if I had read my little scene, I would have said no.
Well, no, what you would have done is you'd have been like, okay, you're going to have to give me 3 or 4 more jokes. They're going to have to be really good jokes.
I write the jokes?
No. He's like, I call my friends that are funny, and we're going to write a bunch of jokes. You're going to let us do these jokes.
He gets one joke.
There's a new, yes, he has one really good joke. I don't remember what it was.
Well, I know which one mine is.
What was the one you like?
He's meeting people, and then like as they walk off, he's like, "This part of the country makes me feel really weird," or something like that. And I was like, "Yeah, that's nice." Talk to his elitism.
there's a new music video from Saturday Night Live with what's his name, Aquaman, on his episode, and it's all about the Rome thing. About how guys only think about Rome. It's 10 out of 10. It's so funny. But Ego Nwodim, however you say her name, she slaps him at one point, and you feel that slap. you feel that you're like, oh, and this is Dustin has to like slap somebody. It's like, what the fuck is this? I'm fucking Dustin Matarazzo of Stranger Things.
And that's the thing.
You're gonna serve me this fucking shit. Get me caviar and champagne, mother.
That's why I like his one joke. It's like, oh, he's an elite, coaster. He's like, oh, I'm rich. But they need to really hit that. It needs to be a satire of himself,
because he's the sweetest guy in the real world.
Oh yeah,
so he has to come on there and play the biggest Hollywood dick on the planet, and it would have killed because he's gonna know how to play that.
The kid's talented. The kid is talented.
He's funny, but he's also a good actor, and he would have just sold it, and it would have brought the thing down. And
instead, you waste it. You waste your $4 million to get him in your movie.
So
he didn't get paid that much.
The bad guys show up at Trout Plus. Our boys climb up, and they're way up above. So they're like, we're going to use the flight suits. We're going to fly down to the thing. They're flying. The one guy's dick is out, and it's like, boop, 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 boop. And this
is going to sound weird.
The hawk attacks him and then cuts his thing, and then his dick is out.
Now, why don't there has to be a moment where was it Glasses who said it in the flashback? Somebody has to say something about his dick. It has to be oh man, you grew up nice. Something about how he still has a nice dick to make a callback to when you talked about his dick earlier.
Well, or it would have helped them navigate down, or there just needs to be something that
other than you give us two seconds of a flapping dick, which honestly isn't even enough to make me laugh. If you had put it on, even if you had given me like 4 to 5 full seconds of dick where I'm like, please take this off the screen. What is happening? That would make me laugh. If it was just weirdly a long time of watching this thing flap around in the wind, any sort of joke would be nice. But there's no joke to it. Even because one of the park rangers sees him. Why doesn't she make a joke? Like, nobody makes a joke.
Oh, that's a good looking dick.
There you go. There's a nice little callback.
If in 3 different parts in this movie, people pointed out that he has a good looking dick.
But he has to be ashamed of it. And that's something that he has to overcome. And maybe that comes up later. I don't know. Like, if you're putting it, I don't know.
You put it in the movie multiple times, it has to add up to something.
But it does.
It did not. So Dustin Matarazzo gets killed by a thrown weapon. I thought that was funny. Could have been funnier, but...
Could have been funnier.
Could have been like, oh my God, his bodyguard crying, I couldn't get in the way. I couldn't save Dustin Matarazzo of Stranger.
Great.
You got to say that. You got to say that 3 times at least.
Yeah.
You got to say his whole name of Stranger Things. It's a joke if you do it.
Yes.
And then they're like, how do we land? And they just like crash into the building.
Which I laughed at. I thought that was funny.
There's a big fight. Amy, the Catholic wife of Glasses, saves Shorty.
Uh-huh. Mm-hmm.
And then Lisa talks to the other cult members. They also have the girl. Well, they have Cedric Yarborough, one of the funniest people on the planet, give him the worst lines known to man. And then the girl from the Christmas movie from last year, the Ryan Reynolds Christmas movie.
Oh, Spirited. Yeah.
She is atomically funny. They give her like Nothing. 2 lines and she just standing there. I'm like, I'm glad she's making money, but
but how much is she? I don't know.
You waste these glorious comedians. You know they're funny. Yeah. Give these people some room to move.
That's why we put you in the movie, but we want to prove that we're funnier than you. So we're not going to give you anything to make people laugh.
So Lisa talks half of the cult out of being in the cult.
Yeah.
and does a Duck Dynasty joke. Wah, wah.
Is that
Conan
show even still on? I don't know. Oh, sad. Poor
Conan
guys.
goes and hides in his office and doesn't come out until later, and then they throw the magic glasses to glasses, and he becomes Lawrence. Oh, Lawrence is a bad impression of Andrew Dice Clay, and that's exactly how he started doing that character. That they were like, "Oh, do your Dice Clay," and he's like, "I'm Lawrence, I'm Dice," and it's like it's a very bad impression of Dice Clay.
Yeah.
Do you want to talk about what Lawrence does, Shoni?
Nothing.
Oh no,
he does absolutely nothing.
He did things.
Not to me. He didn't.
He did things. He did two things.
He beat people up.
No,
made some sort of joke. I don't know.
No, what he did was he kicked a box and it hit one person, an empty box, and it hit them and they fell over. And then he beat one person.
Okay.
And then he said, "I think 3 lines."
Okay. Were they good?
No, they were terrible.
Oh,
Lawrence needs to come out and literally tear someone's arm off. He needs to tear someone's arm off. There needs to be an arm on the ground. He needs to decapitate a person. He needs to pick up a trout and kill somebody with it. He needs to kill like 6 people.
I'm going to go back to the machine now.
Yeah.
Ugh. The only one, not the only, because honestly, the more we see other movies, the less I hate the machine.
Yes, the machine making a comeback.
But when he finally does the fight scene, there's some like really gruesome deaths. Like,
is there? I don't remember that. Okay,
you don't there's some really fucked up shit that happens. Like someone's like throat is cut. You remember this? And he like goes into the throat or like it was something insane. And that's where we have to be. You've built up this character the whole movie. The third act finale is you bringing this guy out, and he does nothing. He does absolutely nothing memorable whatsoever. What are you doing?
He kicks a box, and I was like, "Here it comes!" And then he like beats up like one person, and I was like, "That's it."
No,
he has
this
to kill
guy
them
needs
all.
to go fucking nuts. It needs to be a massacre.
And then the whole cult runs away so that he doesn't get in trouble for it. Carries off the bodies, and we're like, he gets away with it because he's fucking Lawrence.
Yeah. Well, also, the cops don't do anything in this universe, so it doesn't really matter.
And then it's this bird call bit, and so the one guy blows the bird call, and then the hawk comes and steals the thing, and then he brings it back.
Well, so this is the joke I liked with the hawk, right?
Okay.
So he does the call, whatever.
Well, it sounds like a person screaming. Ah!
Yeah,
it's funny.
It was fine. It was fine. I didn't hate it.
But the whole thing that they set up is he's not. I'm not good at it.
Right, but it turns out he's been doing it right the whole time. Doesn't make any sense. But what I enjoy is the hawk comes, takes the whatever, the treasure, and then flies away. And Ginger's like, I thought he would bring it to me. I don't know why. And I was like, that's funny. Like, because it's a bird. The bird's going to do, bird things. It's just going to fly away, bring it to its nest. And then, unfortunately, the bird does come back. And it was,
why does the bird come back?
Because they say, they're like, oh, he was messing with us. I don't know,
Dan. The bird has to steal it, right?
Yep, the bird has to steal it. It's gone. Like, that's what has to happen in the end of the movie.
And
they
then,
don't do that.
And then, then Trout Plus like collapses,
Right. Yeah. We can't win in the end, in my opinion.
No, they completely won. They won everything.
They have to lose.
And then that makes their lives better because that's the turnaround. If the turnaround is you're getting the treasure and then you're happy, do they get the treasure at the end, National Treasure? Probably they do.
Maybe yeah, but I mean, they give it away. It's not like they're rich for it, Dan.
Ah, there it is. They give it away
because he's a good guy. He's doing it for the right reasons,
Nope.
He's trying to outsmart the people that are doing it for the wrong. Have you not seen this in a while? National Treasure is a great movie, Dan. You should go back and rewatch it.
I did enjoy National Treasure. I have nothing
National
bad to say
Treasure
about
is great.
National Treasure. So basically, the fallout is Ginger stands up to his dad. Amy now loves Lawrence in addition to his thing. And,
I don't know.
And then she's like, and I love watching cartoon porn. And we're just like,
what?
What is that?
Is this a joke? I don't understand.
If he'd have had some other weird proclivity, and then she's all like, wait, she pulls, oh, I've got a tattoo Barry Manilow,
Right.
and he's like, I thought you hated Barry Manilow. I love Barry Manilow. Like something weird.
Something. Yep.
She's from whatchamacallit, the show you were talking about, the O'Brien,
What? The what?
you were talking about the show where the guy's trying to open the door after the
Oh, yeah. I think you should leave now.
I think you should leave now.
Whatever.
She's in. I think she's in those.
Oh, okay.
She's the woman in those. I think, and she's very funny.
Okay.
In those, she's very, very funny.
She's also. You're talking about the wife, right, or the girlfriend, or the wife?
The wife.
The baptism.
Yeah.
Yeah. She's also. I think she's also from Superstore too. So like, she's good.
Oh, okay. She's from Superstore. I think so. Yeah.
Now I feel like maybe I'm throwing out things that aren't necessarily true. Ah, shoot.
And then Lisa and Shardy proclaim their love, and then they go have sex in a tent, and Conan gets a line is like, why is everybody always having sex in that tent? Which
I know. She is from Superstore. I just looked it up. That's fine. I was right.
From Superstore. I remember I took one of my writing classes. I took one of the people in the class was like, the best show, the show that I emulate the most is Superstore.
Really?
The most? That show?
Okay. I mean, it's not. I don't hate it. It's fine.
It's a pile of characters that all are weird and all are
They're
weird.
Very weird. Yeah. They don't necessarily make a lot of sense together, but is that really the end of the world? I don't know.
Yeah. Then for the credits, the boys go to London, which is what Shorty always wanted, is for them to go to.
Yeah. Yeah.
There were a lot. I got a lot of laughs out of it. I probably had maybe 10 laughs in that movie, which is a lot. I mean, the Adam Sandler movies we've done, I've been lucky to get like 2.
You're right. You're right about that. And listen, again, a lot of jokes per minute. So like they're gonna hit a couple, right? I mean, that's just the way it is.
That's not the no, Tony. But see, that's not the way it is. There are lots of movies with a lot of jokes per minute that don't even have 3 jokes.
You're not wrong. Again, I don't think that they're not funny. I do think that these guys are clever and they can be funny. I just don't think they're very good. I don't think they can deliver their own goods.
I think they need a real director that really needs to work on the script with them.
Sure.
And
yeah, that'd be nice. That'd be something.
If someone had pounded on this script for 6 months, like pounded on it till it became like a real script, there's a movie here.
Sure. If they actually wanted to make it a movie.
Yeah.
Which doesn't feel like that's what they wanted to do. But, it's not the worst 90 minutes we spent on this podcast. So.
And it was short.
Yeah, it was nice. It's quick, in and out.
So, anything else you want to say about this classic of the genre?
Just go watch Without a Paddle instead. It's a similar movie, but I think it's better. Although I haven't seen it in a while. It might be problematic. I don't know.
I'm sure any movie from that far long ago is you think it's going to be problematic.
That was like 2000, early 2000s. I was out of high school, so it must have been 2004, 2005, something like that. But so there's going to be things you're not going to like in it, but it's a movie at least. At least it's got an A to B to C.
A to B to C, baby.
I don't know.
Okay, now we talk about something we like. Well, I actually have a thing. My new Space Duck book is out.
Oh, yes.
I got a few copies from Book Baby, so that's in my Etsy store if you're so interested.
Is it a book? What is this, Dan?
Yeah, it's a book.
Like a chapter book?
No, it's a short stories.
Short stories. Okay, I love it. What? I'm just trying to get you to explain to the people what it is so they can buy it.
Oh, I see. I thought you had no idea what it was. I was like,
I've never seen you before. I don't know what your work is. Who's Space Quack? I don't know.
So that's my new book. Something I liked this week. I watched the Albert Brooks documentary. I think I watched it last week.
Oh, okay.
Oh, it's so good. So.
Should I watch it? Am I going to cry at all?
He's still alive, and so it's really nice.
I know,
because he kind of he offers a bunch of context. He and Rob Reiner were best friends since childhood.
Oh, wow. I didn't know that. Good for Jesus.
And
good for them.
There's just a lot of very interesting stuff in there. So
I'll have to watch it.
10 out of 10. his early bits. He did a bunch of stuff before anybody else did it. He presaged reality TV, all these things.
Sure.
And
Well, thank you.
He would just write bits and then do them on Johnny Carson, like just walk out there and just
okay.
do a thing. And there are some stunningly hilarious things that you're just like, wow.
Okay. Where is that?
Somewhere. I think it's on it's on like Netflix or something.
All right.
I think it's on Netflix.
I'll figure it out.
Yeah.
Shouldn't be that hard to find.
There's a thing called Just Watch. That's what I always type. Just Watch.
Just Watch.
Then it tells me right where everything is.
Right where I want to be. Great stuff.
What do you got for us, Tony?
I mean, I'm just going to repitch Hot Rod because not enough people saw it, and I rewatched it last night, and I was like, "Fuck, this is funny. It's a funny movie. It's very dumb, but it's great. I love it."
So that you might say that movie's money.
It's money. It's money, just like the Zebrahead song. 'Cause I'm money. No Zebrahead fans in the house. Hello.
Oh, you're so embarrassing. Yeah, the boys' musical taste in this thing too. It's just this like.
What was there music in it?
I mean, those like the Soldier Boy, and it's just like
right.
There's like a Fat Joe reference. You're just like
sure.
It felt so. It felt very very Harvard Lampoon. It felt just very like. Guys in their weird ivory towers that are like, yeah, but I like this stuff that's hip and cool too. And you're like, man, you're embarrassing us, Dad.
Dan.
Okay.
Yeah, what are we doing, Dan? Talk to me.
Keanu Reeves, you know him, you love him. When did that first John Wick come out?
Ooh. Stand by. Give me a couple of seconds here.
Firing up the Google.
2014.
Wow. So
9 years. Holy buckets!
John Wick came out. We're like, Keanu Reeves is a star again. Well, that star made some mistakes after John Wick came out.
Did he?
Yes, he did. And the movie we're doing is from 2018. It's a little movie called Replicas.
Oh, okay. All right.
Have you seen this movie?
I remember the trailer and I remember being like, "Oh, I'm probably not going to see that movie." But I guess here we are, ready to watch it. Okay.
It's what I did my search in 2018, and this one came up, and I was like, "Oh yeah, Replicas." Keanu Reeves playing a scientist,
he like remakes his wife, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know, man.
You just know this is not going to be good. It's going to be a freaking mess.
Which is too bad because this is right after he did that Destination Wedding, which is a cute little rom-com.
Yeah, I mean, I love Keanu, and I'm sure he. Well, I mean, who knows what the problems are going to be, but I have the feeling that this one is going to be full of problems.
Just start to finish problems.
And there's not going to be 10 jokes that I laugh at in this movie.
Well, it's not a funny movie. That's not fair.
There's not going to be 10 concepts in this movie that I'm going to think about as I walk home.
That's fair. All right, I get it.
So, like I said at the beginning, if you like what you see, give us a thumbs up, leave us a comment, or subscribe. These are all nice things. Actually, we got a new subscriber this week, so that was nice.
Oh, wow. Welcome, friend.
He had a name. I saw the name. I read the name. I forgot the name instantaneously.
You're not even going to give him a shout out. Wow, Dan.
Oh, harsh. Tony's just like, why did you do the thing you're supposed to be doing, you lazy bastard?
Listen, he's not still listening to this. We're 90 minutes into this 90-minute movie.
This is like right when the show gets good. This is they usually probably fast forward to this first, and then
just scrub.
Then
Here
we
go.
Back to the beginning. Where's my mail?
Beautiful stuff.
Don't you have mail on here somewhere? Oh boy. Wait, there it is. I see it. I see the mail. No, I clicked the wrong button.
After all this, it's just going to be a bot anyhow, and this is all wasted.
The dude had a name. I saw a name.
The dude's got a name. I got a name.
Tim Lasowski. Thank you for joining, Tim Lasowski.
Lasowski, welcome to the club, my friend.
We love you, and we're here for you.
And as you can see, this is the first new subscriber we've ever had because we've never done a shout out on the show before.
Oh, that's not true, Tony. Usually they subscribe in secret because they don't want us to know their names.
Ah, yes, of course, because we're being spied on.
So we'll be back next week to talk about some replica.
Woo, Keanu. Goodbye, everybody.